Hey guys, I had a little article I wanted to put in here today, and I've been reading on I'm reading about some of this for a while now, and it's really mind blowing what these Rothschilds really are. They're the start of most wars. They like wars. That's where they make their money, and they cause all the wars, most of them. And if you think they don't own the United States, you'd be wrong. The Jesuits bought the United States through the Rothschilds back in the probably 1870s. And they basically own the United States and everything in it. You think you own your land, you don't. The Rothschilds own it. They got rights to everything. And the Jesuits bought it with the help of the Rothschilds, through the Rothschilds, or however it worked. But America is not what you think it is today. And that's why there's so much shit going around. I might as well say it's a bunch of shit. Because if you hear anything about the Rothschilds, you hear shit. That's all they are. They're pieces of shit. Anyway, I want to play this for you. See what you think. Leave your comments in the comment section. Let me know what you think. I'm interested.
The Rothschilds are Jesuits. April 8, 2015 Geopolitics 10170 comments. The Jewish Encyclopedia, Volume 2, p. 497, admits that it is a somewhat curious sequel to the attempt to set up a Catholic competitor to the Rothschilds that at the present time, 1905, the latter are the guardians of the papal treasure. If this latter statement is true, the Rothschilds control, in addition to their own fortune, the immense liquid resource of the Catholic Church, which is second only to the Rothschilds in wealth and power. The Two Babylons, Part 7. Original source for Guardians of the Papal Treasure. Jewish Encyclopedia, published 1901 to 1906, p. 497, link to www.jewishencyclopedia.com. HTML text version, link to www.jewishencyclopedia.com. If you are not an American, you will understand why your country is on its present course, as it too is controlled by the Jesuit general through his select Jesuits, Knights of Malta, Shriner Freemasons, the Knights of Columbus, and the Illuminati's Masonic, Kabbalistic, Labor Zionist, Sabbatean Frankist, named after the Black Popes baptized Jacob Frank, Jewish House of Rothschild. For the order controlled the infamous House of Rothschild since no later than the French Revolution and Napoleonic Wars, after which Jesuit-led crusade the Rothschild family was surnamed the Guardians of the Vatican Treasury. Eric John Phelps, Vatican Assassins, 3rd edition, p.90. The Real Power Structure. The Treaty of Paris of 1763 designated King George III Arch-Treasurer and Prince-Elector of the Holy Roman Empire. And according to the Encyclopaedia Judaica, the Rothschilds bear the title Guardians of the Vatican Treasury. The Vatican Treasury, of course, holds the imperial wealth of Rome. Imperial wealth grows in proportion to its victories in war. As the Jesuit empowerment Regimini Militantis Ecclesiae implies, the church at war is more necessary than the church at peace. According to H. Russell Robinson's Illustrated Armor of Imperial Rome, Caesarian soldiers protect themselves in battle with shields painted red. Since the soldiery is the state's most valuable resource, the Council of Trent admitted this in preferring the Jesuits to all other religious orders. It is easy to understand why the red shield was identified with the very life of the church. Hence, the appropriateness of the name Rothschild, German for red shield. The appointment of Rothschild gave the Black Papacy absolute financial privacy and secrecy. Who would ever search a family of Orthodox Jews for the key to the wealth of the Roman Catholic Church? I believe this appointment explains why the House of Rothschild is famous for helping nations go to war. It is fascinating that, as Meyer Rothschild's sons grew into the family business, the firm took on the title Meyer Amschel Rothschild und Sohn, which gives us the notaricon Mars. Isn't Mars the Roman god of war, whose heavenly manifestation is the red planet? There is powerful Kabbalah here, and there's hardly an acre of inhabitable earth that hasn't been affected by it in some way. Tupper Saucy, Rulers of Evil, p. 160-161. International finance and banking are not primarily Jewish. Many of the most powerful banking interests in the world are run by Gentiles. One of the most powerful forces in international banking is the Knights of Malta, a Roman Catholic military order controlled by the Jesuit Superior General. Sadly, even a certain segment of the alternative media helps to propagate the lie that the Jews run international banking. Interestingly, one of the titles of the Rothschild banking dynasty is Guardians of the Vatican Treasury. The Jews, as a people, have been used for centuries as a scapegoat by these international banksters and their secret societies, such as the Jesuit-controlled Knights of Malta. To label the Jews as running banking, Hollywood, etc., is to throw out the proverbial red herring designed to throw us off the scent of the real controllers. Daryl Eberhardt, editor of Tackling the Tough Topics, January 28, 2006, link to calltodecision.com. The Jesuit general has been the most powerful man in the world since Pius VII restored the order or company in 1814. Because of the order's suppression by the Pope in 1773, the Jesuits began the Bavarian Illuminati, with one of their soldiers, Adam Weishaupt. The Illuminati absorbed the Jewish house of Rothschild, creating a colossus of wealth around the world, subject to the Jesuit general. With this financial arm in place, the Jesuits then made war on the Vatican, including the Pope, the Roman Catholic monarchs of Europe, and the Order of the Dominicans. This Inquisition and crusade was called the French Revolution and Napoleonic Wars. For 25 years, the Jesuit general's Masonic agents, particularly in the person of Napoleon Bonaparte, conducted war. Bonaparte also punished the Knights of Malta, driving them from their island home to Russia. Eric John Phelps, Vatican Assassins, 2nd edition, p. 582. The Jesuits, now formally suppressed by the Pope, were allied with Frederick the Great of Prussia and Catherine II of Russia. The Jesuit general was in control of Scottish Rite Freemasonry, and now sought an alliance with the Masonic Baron of the House of Rothschild. To accomplish this, he chose a Jesuit who was a German Gentile, not a Jew, by race and a Freemason by association, Adam Weishaupt. Eric John Phelps, Vatican Assassins, 3rd edition, p. 401. The Rothschilds were Jesuits who used their Jewish background as a faux to cover their sinister activities. The Jesuits, working through Rothschild and financier Nicholas Biddle, sought to gain control of the banking system of the United States. The Jesuits used Biddle and Rothschild to gain the upper hand in American banking, because they knew they could then control the people and effectively rewrite the Constitution according to papal law. Jackson was trying to stop them. We have already seen that the Rothschilds were the banking agents for the papacy's church. These three financial families, the Rothschilds, Morgans, and Rockefellers, all do the bidding of the Jesuit order because of Jesuit infiltration in their organizations. They do whatever is necessary to destroy constitutional liberty in America and to bring the Pope to world domination. As we look back over the 20th century, we see how successful the Jesuits have been. They have continued to squander the wealth of America and continually attack its great Constitution and civil liberties. Daily, the power of the Pope in Vatican City increases. One day they will achieve total power again. Bill Hughes, The Secret Terrorists, p. 16+17. Seldom is it mentioned that the Rothschilds, along with other Western bankers and industrialists, financed the rise of Hitler as a bulwark against the Soviets. The ultra-right wing falsely describes the Rothschilds as Jewish bankers when, in fact, the Rothschilds are interwoven with the Catholic Church and, jointly with the traditional mafia and the American CIA, interlocked with the Vatican Bank, which was pro-Nazi. Sherman H. Skolnick, The Rockefellers and the Rothschilds, article, link to www.beyondweird.com. The Jesuits were driven to cooperate with the other two international brotherhoods, the Freemasons and the Jews, Rothschild's Illuminati, in the destruction of the Spanish Empire. Salvador de Madariaga, Spanish statesman, The Jesuits, 1820. During the order's suppression from 1773 to 1814 by Pope Clement XIV, General Ricci, 18th Superior General of the Society of Jesus, 1758 to 1775, created the Order of the Illuminati with his soldier, Adam Weishaupt, uniting the House of Rothschild with the Society of Jesus. G. B. Niccolini, History of the Jesuits, Their Origin, Progress, Doctrines, and Designs, London, Henry G. Bone, 1889, pages 356, 357. Jesuit Adam Weishaupt, 1748 to 1811, founder of the Illuminati, 1776, born at Ingolstadt, Germany, in the heart of Roman Catholic Bavaria, from which originated the Order's 30 Years' War, 1618 to 1648. Adam Weishaupt, a white German Gentile, was educated by the Jesuits. In 1775 he became a notorious professor of the Vatican's murderous canon law, including the evil, Counter-Reformation Council of Trent. Since Pope Clement XIV's bull of extinction was not enforced in Lutheran Germany, the order flourished at its University of Ingolstadt, out of which Weishaupt established the Illuminati in 1776, and joined the Grand Orient Masonic Lodge in 1777. He united the magnificent financial empire of the Kabbalistic, Masonic, Jewish House of Rothschild, the guardians of the Vatican's treasury, with the opulence of the international and secret, anti-Jewish race, primarily white Gentile Society of Jesus. Nesta H. Webster, Secret Societies and Subversive Movements, South Pasadena, California, Emissary Publications, 1988, originally published in 1924. Weishaupt and his fellow Jesuits cut off the income to the Vatican by launching and leading the French Revolution, by directing Napoleon's conquest of Catholic Europe, as the order would do with Hitler, by the revolt against the Church, led by such priests as Father Hidalgo, in Mexico and Latin America, by eventually having Napoleon throw Pope Pius VII in jail at Avignon until he agreed, as the price for his release, to re-establish the Jesuit order. This Jesuit war on the Vatican was terminated by the Congress of Vienna, and by the secret, 1822, Treaty of Verona. Ever since, the Rothschilds have been the fiscal agents of the Vatican. Emanuel M. Josephson, Jewish-American physician and historian, The Federal Reserve Conspiracy and Rockefellers, 1968. You'll also find ex-British intelligence officer Dr. John Coleman expose how the Rothschilds, and even the Rockefellers' wealth simply doesn't come close to some of the members of the Committee of 300, which is controlled by the Order of the Garter, Pilgrim Society, all inner cores of the SMOM. The Jews were bought into positions of power within banking back in 1066 by the Norman Anglo-Saxon monarchs. For this they accepted being controlled. Remember that the law of banking is known as International Maritime Admiralty Law. This maritime law was based on Vatican canon law. All the war banks known as central banks get controlled from SMOM-controlled Switzerland. The Federal Reserve pays the Bank of England, which finally ends up in the Swiss Bank of International Settlements. All you need to do is study the SMOM and its members, then look who's who in banking. Craig Oxley, link to www.davidicco.com. Suspicious decorations and obedience. Early in the 19th century, the Pope approached the Rothschilds to borrow money. The Rothschilds were very friendly with the Pope, causing one journalist to sarcastically say Rothschild has kissed the hand of the Pope. Order has at last been re-established. Derek Wilson, Rothschild, The Wealth and Power of a Dynasty, p. 101, link to www.biblebelievers.org.au. Karl Mayer, Kalman, Rothschild, * 1788-1855, Österreich. He even granted Pope Gregory XVI cash injections, and was received on January 10, 1832 in audience, the kiss on the hand allowed and the Order of St. George awarded. Link to www.limera.de, translated. Amschel Mayer Rothschild wears a Maltese cross. After all, Amschel Mayer was the first son of the old Rothschild, Mayer Amschel, and took over the head office in Frankfurt. Mayer Karl of Rothschild. Only the decoration to the left could be Jewish, the others rather not. The Sovereign Military Order of Malta SMOM. The Jesuit-controlled SMOM has a permanent observer status at the UN. Who created the CFR? Which created the UN? The Jesuits control the CFR. The Rothschilds are simply court Jews for the papacy, and always will be unless they play up, then the papacy will simply annihilate them by any means necessary. If you look at what's going on in this world properly, you can see the Roman Catholic control quite clearly. The Rothschilds have been under the Black Pope's thumb since the 18th century. Be careful of the many diversionists out there playing with your mind. The Jesuit always control both sides. When you put money in the bank, does the bank own that money, or can you remove it and place it in another bank, or under your mattress? Yes, if there's a crash you can lose your money, but the Jesuit will never lose his money. Remember, the whole banking system is fully controlled by the Sovereign Military Order of Malta, and has been for eons. Switzerland is their banking HQ, closely followed by the city, NYNY, and Dubai. Rothschild is subordinate to the Jesuits, and the SMOM commanders. Period. You need to understand how the Jews were granted the positions of power within the SMOM banking. Look to 1066 and the agreement with them being ruled by the Norman Anglo-Saxon monarchs. These Jews have their uses to the Jesuit. The Jesuit isn't stupid, he will utilize what he can to make his power cemented and stronger. The fourth vow Jesuits are the most organized of any order known, and the most powerful. What do you hear daily? Rothschild, Rothschild. What didn't you hear about much at all until recently? The Jesuits and the Superior General. For that matter, the SMOM still are kept pretty much quiet in the info wars. The Council on Foreign Relations was created by the Sovereign Military Order of Malta back in 1921, after their creation of the Royal Institute of International Affairs in 1919. Both of these control the 1868 corporation known as the United States. Both are arms of the SMOM via their inner cores within the city known as Pilgrim Society, Order of the Garter, and Committee of 300. The CFR created the United Nations. Now notice how the SMOM have permanent observer status within the United Nations. Look to the likes of New York Jesuit Joseph O'Hare, who's a CFR. It is correct there's many labor Masonic Zionists within the CFR, but remember also they are Masonic, which itself means subordinate to the Jesuit Superior General who controls all of Freemasonry, again thanks to Adam Weishaupt. If you look at the Georgetown Law Journal, Volume 71, pages 1179 to 1200, you will see it stated the Norman and Anglo-Saxon kings own the Jews. It states that Jews are controlled by G.T. Britain. It also states the Talmud is now law of the land as of 1066, and it's enforced by the popes and kings. This is what you would call the Uniform Commercial Code. Gold Dragnet, member of ATS Forum. It is accurate to posit that Australia, New Zealand and Canada are not independent, sovereign countries. However, these nations are not owned and run by the UK. They are owned and run by the House of Windsor Crown Temple Syndicate within the City of London Corporation. The head signatory of the Crown Temple Syndicate is Elizabeth Windsor, Queen Elizabeth II of England. It should not be forgotten that the most powerful financial syndicate in the Western world is that of the European Rothschilds. The Rothschilds, because of their power base inside the City of London Corporation, have a controlling membership of the London Crown Temple Syndicate, and they also have executive control of the Vatican and the Mafia, though the P2 Masonic Lodge in Italy. The financial affairs of the new UK coalition government in London are also Rothschild-controlled. The line management here is understood to be Jacob Rothschild, Nathaniel Rothschild, N.M. Rothschild and Sons Limited, New Court, St. Swithin's Lane, London EC4P4DU, Oliver Letwin, George Osborne, British Chancellor of the Exchequer. Queen Elizabeth II fronts for the Rothschilds. She is the largest landowner on earth. She is head of state of the United Kingdom and of 31 other states and territories, and is the legal owner of 6,600 million acres of land, 1/6 of the Earth's land surface. A conservative estimate of the value of the Crown Temple Syndicate's land holding, under the Queen's signature, is £17.6 trillion. See more at http://www.henrymaco.com/by_alquin_bramerton4_henryma.html#/.ax19op.puff. You can participate in the ongoing battle for the survival of the planet by boycotting Big Pharma for good. You can actually participate in the global efforts to cripple the deep state organized criminal cabal's ability for genocide, while enjoying healthcare freedom at the same time, by boycotting Big Pharma for good. Like this. Related. Powerful bloodlines behind the dark cabal. July 20th, 2012. In Enlightenment. Karen
So in actuality, America is a corporation, not a country, and it's owned by the Jesuits and the Rothschilds. They own all the land. So you really don't own your land. I mean, you hold the title to that land, but it's not really yours. It belongs to them. So they think they'd play hell trying to get it back from everybody, I reckon. Anyway, guys, this is the danger that the Jesuits and the Rothschilds present. They like war. That's where they make their money, through war. They are the owners of all war. And will be till, well, Americans and the rest of civilization stand up against them. Fight back. These are the evil people, guys. Evil. But that's up to you to decide. I just wanted to bring this article to you to let you hear it. It was brought to my attention through a comment in one of my posts. So, yeah. Thought I'd bring it to you. It's really opened my eyes up a lot. I mean, I knew that the Rothschilds were evil and corrupt, but I just didn't know how far it went. But it looks like it's going pretty far. Anyway, guys, like, share, subscribe as always. If you want to donate, use the PayPal link below. And as always, be blessed in Jesus' name.